Did a YouTuber just defeat the entire gatekeeping system of Hollywood? Well, it's looking likely. Markiplier, the guy behind the Iron Lung movie that's shocking the studios in southern Los Angeles? Well, it turns out he's wiping the floor. He's dusting up wicked. And that's no good for celebrities who say, no way, YouTubers and content creators can't have our stay. Well, it turns out they're losing anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet again to another experience of YouTubing excellence, the kind you will not find almost anywhere else. Folks, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna tell you what's really going on in Hollywood, and a paradigm shift is underway. As we get underway, click the like button and drop a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Back during the presidential election, you will recall that Joe Rogan did something that stunned the Hollyweirds. You see, the biggest deal on TV and in a presidential election is supposed to be the debate. It has been since the 60s. And when you have the presidential debate, that sways the election in ways that no other thing does. And the moderators often are able to put their thumb on the scale, and you know how that goes. You know which way they play the game. But Joe Rogan did something that really we thought was the beginning of the new media having conquered the legacy media. Joe Rogan had bigger viewership for his long format conversation with President Trump and JD Vance than ABC News did under Dana Walden with the presidential debate. Now, a new change has happened that we think just might be another example of a new genre, a new platform, a new place being conquered by the new media. Jonas, how do I say this YouTuber? Is it Markiplier?
Yep, Mark, as in multiplier, but his name is Mark. He got into it doing videos of himself and playing multiple roles, and that is where the name Markiplier came, but he made his bones really doing FNAF videos.
Very clever. Here's the report from the Hollywood Reporter, how Markiplier's iron lung proved the studios wrong. There's a stigma against YouTube. When you read that, what you can read that to really mean is there's a stigma against the new media. But just like podcasting has outpaced and outplaced the legacy news, it seems like YouTubers are about to take over the theaters too. It says the filmmaker and longtime YouTube personality tells the Hollywood Reporter about self-distributing the surprise horror hit after meeting with studio execs who were 100% not about me, aka Gatekeeping. This is by Ryan Gajewski, and they didn't want him in. They don't want you in. They don't want YouTubers like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, etc. to get a foothold into the theaters because they know that your favorite content creators can make things that are way better than they can. Remember, they don't want your Star Wars. Markiplier can breathe easy. Now that Iron Lung, the horror movie that he wrote, directed, stars in, and self-distributed, that's a lot, stunned Hollywood by surpassing $17 million domestically in its opening weekend and coming in just behind Sam Raimi's Send Help as the frame's top title. It's number 2, folks, number 2. And wait till you hear about the budget. Now they're going to take a shot at Melania here. We're going to ignore that for just a second and say instead, Markiplier, who's posted popular video game-focused content for over a decade to his audience, now stands at 38 million subscribers, came away empty-handed when he went over to the studios asking, hey, would you like to have this movie? But he had the last laugh. The film, centering on a convict forced to navigate a submarine through a moon's ocean of blood, played on more than 4,000 screens worldwide over the weekend, with Bill and Sam Herding from Centurion Film Service handling bookings after a grassroots fan campaign pushed major chains to show it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Herculean task to get this on to the screens at a time when studios are not giving the box office what they need. Still, it took every single ounce of effort to do this, and it paid off. With a $3 million production budget, hey Marvel, oh. $3 million. You ever seen that before? Iron Lung, that's Godzilla levels. Iron Lung has already surpassed $20 million globally. And Markiplier pockets half of the global gross for the adaptation of David Szymanski's 2022 video game. Now, this goes on to give us an interview with the man, but folks, I think this is really a historic moment where a YouTuber did all the stuff that it takes to break into an industry that does not want him. They do not want you. He did it anyway. He managed to get in there, and he did it his way. And now he's being rewarded. And this will open the floodgates, I believe, to other content creators doing the same thing. With AI, and I know some of you don't like AI, but with AI offering the opportunity to drastically reduce the cost of FX, I think that a lot of content creators can now get in, make movies that go on the big screen for budgets that are tiny. And I think that they are going to absolutely wipe the floor with Hollyweird. Panel, what say you?
I love it. I love it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I think it's great that it's having the success that it's having, and the fact that I think it's like Markiplier Studios or some other word after it. But the fact that the distributor is listed as Markiplier, that opens up an incredible new era here, that we can maybe even democratize the movie theaters, because we know that the movie theaters are desperate for content. So if this is an avenue that is actually opened up to YouTubers and content creators, and if we're going to release things on this platform and they're of a quality that someone might actually go see it in a theater, why not do an opening run, even if it's small release to wide release? This is something that is it opens up so many possibilities for the next thing for movie theaters, which are dying right now because they need these big budget movies that right now the audience is turned against these big budget movies because they're so preachy and so hit or miss. And they have stars in them, as we've discussed on this channel, that actively campaign against their own audience. So if you get somebody who knows that his audience is engaged and is willing to go do something like this in a genre like horror that has such a low barrier to entry, this could change the entire board for the movie industry.
It could, and the studios did not want this to happen. They rejected him every way. They're terrified of YouTubers getting in and actually being better than all of the people that have been gatekept and put into the places they think they belong with their 8-figure salaries and all that ridiculousness. They're terrified of this culture. They really don't want to go here, but they may have to go there if content creators bypass the system and go straight to the theaters.
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is kind of the game changer, and AI is a pathway forward through that. You guys, I know a lot of people don't want to hear about AI, but when it comes to setting up your shot list based on a script that you put together, AI can manage all of the stuff that you would normally need a line producer for, and maybe a director of photography telling you what kind of shots you're going to need for each scene, and just basically establishing like an outline for how to go about doing this with the smallest number of people, which keeps your budget down. I mean, like, I always tell people when I get around to producing the film that I want to make, I'm going to pay people in Subway sandwiches. That's what you're going to get, because that's about what the budget's going to be. So it's as Jonas pointed out, most people don't realize the probably the lowest barrier to entry is horror, because it doesn't cost that much money, and most scripts are written with only 2 or 3 sets. It's like scene changes and settings are more oriented around the performances of the actions of the characters and kind of what the driving force is of your screenplay. But I look at this and I'm like, I've been cheering for this all week and now weekend, and we're into it. We'll be coming up on the second weekend. And if you're not cheering for this guy's success, then you don't really want solid independent films or a resurgence in cinema entertainment.
This is going to top 30 million.
Yeah.
We're not even deep into its release. It's going to top 30 million. It costs $3 million to make. That's a 10x. It's 10x already over its budget right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is amazing. And we have the horror genre, and then I don't know if it's considered to be an independent studio anymore, but also with faith-based films, we have Angel Studios, and they're producing good content, which also opens the door between the two for I think other faith-based content creators, YouTube. Otherwise, it's another genre, I think, where you can get away with low budgets, and there's an audience for it, and it carries with it stories like the horror and the suspense. That's fun, right? You go to the movie theater to see it and to jump out of your seat and to be scared, and it's fun to go to that kind of movie. That's why people go. It's why people go to haunted houses and monsters. The Monsters Land at Epic Universe is great, and that's just the fun stuff. On the other side of that, you have faith-based material that can really draw in people emotionally. I think God's Not Dead, that was a big movie. Other things like that. I think that these type of things are really going to shake up Hollywood because, you know, when you put together, was it Deadpool and Wolverine that we discussed after it made over $1 billion, possibly lost money because of
Still
the cost?
Yeah, and we didn't know that for years. Let me show you another reason, though, Ron, real quick. This is why the studios can't stop this. If it's going to happen, now's the time, and the studios can't stop it. The theaters will allow it. Folks, you come to this channel to go deep, and we're going to go deep right now. We're going to give you something nobody else is going to show you, and we're going to do it right now, okay? If we have not yet earned your subscription, we're working on it with this one. Here is Iron Lung. Here's what you need to know. Yeah, 26 million, got it. It's going to top 30. Okay, but come down here with me. Daily box office performance. I want you to look at the per theater. When this thing was originally released, it made almost $3,000 per theater, then $1,800, then $1,200, and it's been sitting in the 500s on weekdays. Okay? It's in 3,000 theaters. It's making big bucks per theater. Those are numbers that anybody would love. Let me show you this. Out of the numbers, Wicked for Good. Yes, it's still in there. How many theaters is it in? Well, folks, as you can see, Wicked for Good in the last few days has been in 800 plus screens.
Wow.
Where it is making $44 per theater, $92 per theater, $41, $18 per theater, $35, $26, $20. It's selling like 1 or 2 tickets. Wicked. It's sitting in 800 screens. The theater's forced to have it. Versus again, Iron Lung made by a YouTuber. We go all the way down, 3,000 theaters, and it's making thousands of dollars. This is why the studios can't stop it. This is why. Culture, that's kind of surprising. I mean, isn't that an amazing analysis? When you break it down by screen, you say, oh, Wicked's making $20 versus 1,000 plus for a YouTuber.
When you drill down, then you really understand why the exhibitors are going to really need to get on board with independent film creators, because they need that theater to generate, you know, more than just a power bill, because you've got to pay for power in there. You got to pay for, you know, the producing the film on the screen and the sound and everything else, air conditioning or heating, depending upon the time of the year, you know, and then you have staff on hand to go and clean that theater in between each showing. What an incredible waste of money. Imagine that employee that they have to keep around to do all of that. The one person is, you know, going around maybe a series of various theaters, but with that kind of return, you're just absolutely killing yourself. It's not good. It's not
good at all. Folks, we'll keep our eye on this one. A paradigm shift perhaps underway, putting content creators in the silver screens and kicking out the celebrities America has already perhaps kicked out of their attention spans. You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels, That Part Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.